the entire bus slipped straight out of view over the rocky cliff.
Yo, fire this cameraman, bruh. Listen, you got one job as the cameraman. The camera goes where your eyes go.
When you tap that record button, you have no idea what you're going to capture. You may capture a heartfelt moment, a happy golden memory.
True.
Or you may capture
something
a nightmare.
Horrific.
Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, my name's Ryan from Tragedy Tales.
You doing
and over
edibles
here
for
we cover
Outlast?
anything
We could do that.
tragic. Whether that be a plane crash, a bizarre accident, we cover it all. But this video is a mega video. A re-upload by popular request, a top 10 of the most insane footage captured before disaster that we've covered so far. So strap yourselves in and grab a drink. Let's get right into it.
Number 10.
This shocking footage was captured by a 28-year-old man named Armin Schmeider. Now, Armin was a wingsuit pilot from Italy, and he was a very experienced skydiver. He had a young child and a following online that would watch him conduct acts that most of us would flat out refuse. Armin's latest obsession was...
See, them squirrel suits, y'all got it, bro. Whatever happens to you, Armin, you took the risk.
Wind gliding. In August of 2016, he had been gliding for 1 year and felt invincible, but he wanted to push it that little bit further. So Armin trekked to the top of a mountain near Kandersteg in Switzerland, and here he began live streaming himself. On the live stream, he can be seen preparing his suit. He was smiling and clearly very happy to be doing this. He seemed very much in his element.
See, I'm not willing to bring myself that close to death.
He told his viewers that today you fly with me. After checking...
I do things that anybody could do and survive, like zip lining, all right? There's enough safety measures. Anybody can do it and survive, all right? Jumping in the pool. Enough people do it, you'll survive, all right? Scuba diving. Enough people do it, you'll survive. I'm not getting in no squirrel suit, bro.
That he'd fully equipped himself, he slid the phone into his backpack and leapt from the mountaintop. As his phone was in his bag, you can hear wind and noises, and it sounds like it's all going well, until it's all abruptly ended by a shout and the sound of impact.
That's crazy.
The live stream turned silent, and the only thing that could be heard was the eerie sound of cowbells ringing in the distance.
You hear the freaking cow?
Viewers watched and reacted in absolute horror. Some sent messages in chat requesting that he write or say something, but there was no response. The stream went on before his phone battery finally died. The next day, the police discovered his body near Kandersteg
see why people
at a
do
popular
this, don't
base
care about
jumping
their life.
location.
That's what I'm saying.
The cause of his death was blunt force trauma to the head. However, they could not be sure why exactly the accident occurred.
Number 9.
This tragic footage begins on April the 9th, 2015. An 85-year-old man by the name of Clem Schultz was at his home in Fairdale, Illinois with his wife, Geraldine,
Big Navy man,
who he
shout out
always
to him.
referred to as Jerry. Now, Clem and Jerry had been married for 25 years. They built a life together that was filled with love, laughter, and happiness. This continued up until that fateful
I'm gonna have to keep a glass of water next to the desk so we can hydrate.
day. Clem and Jerry woke up and had their breakfast. There was a light breeze in the air, but absolutely nothing to cause concern. Until around midday on April the 9th, the SPC issued a 10% hatch tornado threat across much of northern Illinois and small portions of nearby states. This detailed the potential for several tornadoes, of which 1 or 2 had the potential to be pretty strong, at least EF2 on the enhanced Fujita scale, so around 111 to 135 miles per hour or stronger. Because they'd seen it all before and thought that it wouldn't affect them, they decided that they'd wait it out in their house. Later that day, the pair had just finished eating supper when they heard a subtle rumbling noise in the distance. They knew without even looking
it was
a tornado. They glanced out the window to confirm their worries. A huge, deadly tornado had formed and was swooping its way across their small town. Now, this was no small tornado. This was an EF4 tornado.
See, I'm not living nowhere that happens, bro. Listen.
much stronger than was predicted. An EF4 tornado is capable of reaching speeds up to 200 miles an hour and capable of dealing incredible amounts of damage to homes and infrastructure. As it swept by, it caused catastrophic damage. Houses were destroyed, trees were toppled, and debris was scattered everywhere. Clem rushed upstairs to the top floor of the house and began recording with his...
I've never seen a natural disaster like this in person. Like, from Atlanta, we seen like the outskirts of Hurricane Katrina. I do remember that. But like, imagine being off the eddy and seeing a tornado. I would lose my mind. I'm jumping straight into the afterlife. I don't want no problems.
His phone, while his wife remained in the kitchen downstairs. They both prayed it would go straight past them. You can see in the video the angry tornado as it whirled away in the distance. Its dark, ominous presence instilled dread in all that saw it.
That's why you live somewhere with no tornadoes present.
It may go straight past them until it switches direction and begins heading right towards Clem and his wife.
Okay, you got a tornado on its way and you in the window recording? Listen, y'all know what I'm about to say. Whatever happened next, you earned it.
Closer and closer, and within 2 minutes, they were now in the eye of the storm. The recording soon goes black, and all that can be heard is violent wind, destroying anything it came into contact with. And just like that, as quickly as it had come, it was gone. The recording went quiet, and nothing could be heard but a gentle breeze. The tornado had completely destroyed
What you gonna do,
house.
Holla, running
the
outside? No, when a tornado coming, you're supposed to get in a doorway, because that's like the best protection for you is in a door frame away from windows. They teach you that. They taught me that in Georgia public schools. All right, and we ain't even have no tornadoes.
Came down on Clem, crushing his hand
Clem knows it,
but luckily he survived.
Oh yeah, a tub is a good one. It's a tub in a door frame or under in a hallway with no access, with your head down, hands covering your neck, man. Come on now.
Tragically, his wife Jerry was not so lucky. She was crushed as the house collapsed around her. Here, underneath all that rubble, Clem remained trapped until he was spotted by tornado spotters who just so happened to be in the right place at the right time. As
hey, whoever live in this house, they like, dog, sucks to be y'all. That's crazy.
Helped heave him out of the debris. One of them told him, "Don't look down because your wife is under you."
Woo!
And she's dead. Clem's life was never the same after that day. The phone that was used to record this video was later recovered in the rubble, and apparently Clem went on to make a full recovery.
Number 8, let's see what it's talking about.
This heart-stopping GoPro footage was captured in April of 2022 on the majestic Meiji Mountain, located near La Grave in the Southern Alps. The video is pretty short, but very intense. It starts with serene scenes presenting a beautiful panoramic view of the magnificent mountains.
Okay.
He finds himself captivated by the beautiful, picturesque scenery. However, while he's admiring it all, an unforeseen event takes place. A sudden hole materializes underneath him. In an instant, the skier helplessly descended into the depths of the dark void.
Dog, what? My man is getting sucked into the upside down.
Remarkably composed, the Frenchman utilizes his skis to slow his fall, gracefully maneuvering down the near vertical slope as though he was defying gravity.
But like, where do you go after
Now,
that?
footage before horror doesn't necessarily mean death. Amazingly, against all odds, his audacious strategy to slow his fall succeeded, allowing him to find a small foothold on a narrow ledge. From here, he peered into the deep, dark chasm that almost claimed his life.
Bro, listen. Concrete, sand, all right? Grass. These is the types of places I'm standing on, all right? Snow, ice, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Fortunately, his ski companions were well prepared for these sort of things.
Okay.
It took the group approximately 15 to 20 minutes to make their way to the crevice in which he'd fallen. When they got there, the painstaking rescue efforts commenced, involving the use of crampons, pickaxes, and shovels
What is that?
to finally free him from the icy grip of the glacier. Thankfully, the unnamed skier, described as an experienced mountaineer and ski mountaineer, not only survived the ordeal, but also exhibited astonishing composure. Following a brief respite, he even resumed skiing, leaving his companions.
What? See, bruh, listen. I almost drowned. I'm getting out the water. All right. Actually, I almost drowned. I ain't get back in water for 2 years. I'm done.
In
I'm done.
awe of his calm demeanor. This footage went viral and left countless online viewers speechless.
Where did it go to? Like, where did it lead to? That's what I want to know.
Skydiving is an inherently frightening and high-risk sport that involves leaping out of a plane with just a parachute between you and certain death. Personally, I'd never attempt it, but loads of people, thousands of people love it. However, if I were to try skydiving, I'd definitely opt for a tandem jump, where you're basically hooked up to a professional, and it's considered way safer for beginners.
Isn't it mandatory that you do a tandem jump your first skydive?
Unfortunately, this belief proved fatal for 18-year-old Tyler Turner. On the sunny morning of August the 6th, 2016, Tyler, who bravely refused to let his mild case of cerebral palsy control his life, arrived at the Lodi Parachuting Center in California for his first ever tandem skydive. Tyler was known for his fun-loving and adventurous nature. He was a musician and was adored by everyone around him. For a bit of background, the Lodi Parachuting Center was a renowned skydiving school located in California's Central Valley. It opened in 1964, and it proudly claims to be one of the largest and oldest drop zones in the United States. On that fatal afternoon, Tyler was paired with Yong Kwon, a 25-year-old instructor who had accumulated 700 jumps of experience.
Okay.
Before suiting up.
Hey, yo, jumping out of a plane 700 times is insane. All right, one is enough for me.
Yong turned his camera and warmly greeted Tyler.
We might do the half of the look. Should we do the 100K special on Big Holla? Should we do the 100K special? I go skydiving? Oh my goodness, what am I getting myself into?
Capturing the excitement of the moment.
Or should we make it 500K on Holla Crazy? Which one?
Tyler, standing on the sunlit runway, expressed his love for his mum and playfully wondered if he would make it through the jump.
Welcome.
You said do skiing at 100K? All right, we might do skiing at 100K. Skiing at 100K sounds a lot more doable.
Parachute Center.
Oh,
What is your name?
My name is Tyler Turner.
What are you doing here?
I am going to jump out of a plane.
It's your first time.
First time indeed.
Maybe you're a little bit scary.
A little bit scary. When I get up there, it's going to be like, oh gosh.
You said skydiving? Skydiving. So skydive. Okay.
That's my mom.
Chat, so we're going to skydive at 500K and skiing at 100K. We could do that.
Mom over there.
Hello.
Very loving mom. Done a lot for me in my life. Hope she'll help me with more of my life because I want to make it.
I'm terrified.
We're gonna make
What?
Do you ready?
I am ready.
High five. Let's go to jump.
Let's go jump. I'm ready.
Bro, my instructor better have
And just like that,
2,000
they said
plus
goodbye. Tyler boarded the plane
jumps
and
before I
ascended
go.
above the clouds, and without a second thought, leapt into the sky with Yong in tandem.
What could have went wrong though? Did he detach or something?
Heartbreakingly, during the descent, Yong attempted to release the parachute,
And it
but
didn't.
encountered a failure. Both the main chute and the emergency chute refused to open.
Nah, son. Hey. Listen. I'm going to the best parachute company, packer, maker. If they join not at 100% pull rate, I'm not going skydiving there. Okay. If they have, hey, our parachutes release, our main chutes release at 97%, and our backup chutes release at 95%. They're done. I'm not going.
They plunged 13,000 feet to their untimely deaths, rendering the video where Tyler joked about his survival eerily haunting.
And that's something I would do too.
Family and friends watched on through tears as a coroner's van removed the bodies of two men who had skydived early this morning.
Deputies responded out to the scene and located a tandem jumping pair that did impact the ground without the chute deploy.
An investigation into Tyler's death revealed that despite Young's extensive experience of 700 jumps, he actually lacked the necessary license to perform that tandem jump. Furthermore, he was still in his probationary period.
Hold on, what is that tandem jump? What does that mean?
And had not yet received proper training. Adding to this tragedy, authorities then discovered a history of around 20 deaths associated with the parachuting center since they opened.
Oh, see, I'm doing my research. I'm gonna get my education before I go jumping out of a plane with somebody on my back.
Shockingly, despite the tragic deaths of Tyler and Young,
you want to say something,
owner, Bill,
but it's too soon,
just chose to keep the facility
what
open
you about to say?
And even resumed skydiving operations the very next day.
That's crazy.
When confronted by the police in this photo, he tried to deflect blame. Witnesses described him as devoid of remorse, compassion.
Who else do you blame for your parachutes not opening and you having an unlicensed skydiving instructor? Who else is to blame?
Or any meaningful concern for the tragic situation on hand.
It's an unfortunate situation, but if you see a car wreck, they don't close the freeway. It's something that, unfortunately, in this sport, in skiing and scuba diving, there are fatalities.
Oh, fatalities in skiing? Oh, no. Hey, listen. I'm going to let y'all know right now, do not sub to this channel because that 100K don't need to come. All right? Where am I going to go skiing at anyway?
Of course, Tyler's family took Bill, the owner, to court, accusing him of negligent homicide. After a long and expensive court battle, in March of 2021, justice was served as the court found Bill guilty, awarding Tyler's family a compensation of a whopping $40 million.
Jesus Christ.
This victory marked
How did he pay that?
the end of a terrible, terrible chapter.
It got to be like
However,
insurance or something.
Tyler's spirit of adventure, his infectious smile, will never be forgotten. He wanted to do so much
40
in
mil
this
is
world,
crazy.
but sadly, his life was abruptly cut short due to negligence. Amazingly, the parachute center remains open to this very day.
That's crazy. I won't be signing up there.
On the 1st of August 2022, a man named Muthu Kumar, who we'll call Muthu, had reportedly been in charge in overseeing the preparation of porridge for an upcoming festival in India. The sticky, sweet concoction was being prepared in large metal containers in the middle of the street with no lids. Muthu can be seen swaying back and forth. He's clearly going through some sort of phase, so he holds onto the wall for support. And while he's in this haze, he looks desperately around for a seat. Captured on CCTV, in what looks like a moment of poor
That
judgment,
mustache man
Muthu
look.
decides to perch on the side of a boiling porridge vat.
What? Yo, hey, man, listen.
Passersby looked at him in confusion, knowing that he was so close to falling in, and one even reached out to ask if he was okay. But before anyone could assist, Muthu attempted to fully seat himself on the porridge. He overshot it and plunged straight into the sticky, boiling mess, submerging up to the neck in the stuff. Now submerged in boiling liquid, Muthu went into complete shock. He tried to pull himself out, but every surface that he touched was scalding. He just completely froze in panic. Many people rushed to his aid, pulling at his arms to help him, but he had fallen into such an awkward position. Muthu was conscious throughout, as 5 to 6 people worked to heave him out of the barrel. But they didn't want to get burnt themselves.
Hey, on God. Hey, man, listen. I'm going to try my best, but
They pulled, and eventually the entire porridge vat fell over into the street. ejecting Muthu to the ground.
See, that would have been the best thing. Tip it over, let it pour out, let him come out with the, you know what I'm saying?
People watched as he tried to stand up, and it was clear to see that he couldn't believe what had just happened. While he was able to walk away from the scene, his burns were catastrophic. He had the worst degree of burns on 95% of his body. They rushed him to hospital, but sadly, he passed away that night. Police's initial investigations found that Muthu did suffer from epilepsy, but they couldn't be sure if he was experiencing an episode when he stumbled.
Hold up, 9-5, what?
On Sunday, July the 23rd, 2006, the day started like any other for many residents of the county of Durham, England.
Okay.
In Durham is a park called the Riverside Park. This park is a large stretch of grass that has always been popular with visitors, as it was often used to hold art exhibitions for touring art companies and bands.
Okay.
However, that weekend, something special had come to Riverside Park. It was an inflatable sculpture known as Dream Space. Dream Space was created in 1996 by British sculptor Maurice Aegis.
Okay.
Dream Space, along with his other pieces of art, toured across Europe and was seen by thousands. Maurice and his team arrived on Saturday.
Yo, an inflatable piece of artwork? That man might be on to something, alright?
22nd to set up the sculptures and open them to the public the next day.
Would I rather burn to death or drown to death? I'm taking drowning, bruh. Burning, I cannot do it, alright? I can't do it. Water. I know it hurts. I don't know if I could take burning. I don't think I could.
Sunday morning, it was bright and sunny with a light breeze, eventually attracting around 500 people to see his art. Of course, Dream Space was the main attraction. The sculpture was indeed something that you don't see every day. It was a giant, towering, abstract maze that you could explore and walk around. It was made out of rubber and inflated similarly to a bouncy castle. It measured a massive 112 yards. It boggled the eye just looking at it. As the day went on, the wind slowly started to pick up, but they
said simulating being in the womb.
Prepared for this, Maurice told his employees to secure it with more rope to the moorings. As Maurice made this
Holla
commandment,
going scuba diving. Hey, I've been scuba diving. If y'all want the 250K special to be scuba diving, we could do that. All right, we could do that. Give me a GoPro. I'm in there. Now, when I did scuba dive, I hit my knee in the cave. I thought I was going to start bleeding. A shark was going to smell it, and I was going to get eaten. I'm not going to lie. That's what happened.
The scene for a tea break. Within moments of him leaving, pure pandemonium broke out. While the inflatable structure was tied to the ground with ropes and moorings, it proved totally insufficient. Around 3:30 that afternoon, the structure rose, and one by one, the pegs snapped and came out of the ground. Many people who were inside at the time were forced to leap out as it gained altitude. Staff fought to keep it on the ground, and even Maurice came out to assist holding it down. But even with around 40 men still holding it, they stood no chance. A summer storm had built, and huge gusts of wind began to carry the structure up to 30 feet in the air. This is footage from the incident. People watched as this gargantuan structure drifted through the air. It then hit the CCTV camera and began tumbling into a nearby car park.
That's crazy.
But what goes up must come down. After some solid airtime, the structure plummeted to the ground, where staff rushed in to provide aid. It was total chaos. In total, 13 people were injured and multiple children suffered punctured lungs, broken ribs, not to mention internal bleeding. The most catastrophic of injuries was sustained by a 39-year-old woman named Claire and a 68-year-old woman named Elizabeth. They had been crushed in the fall while they were inside. They were rushed to the nearest hospital, but sadly, they both died.
Yo, GG's in the chat for Claire and Elizabeth, man.
That evening. When staff were questioned, they said that they'd witnessed the structure blowing at least 2 feet into the air the previous days, and even on that Sunday. They reported it to Maurice, and he was aware, but nothing was done. In 2009, Maurice, the creator, was charged with negligent manslaughter, and after a 4-week trial, he was found not guilty. He was, however, charged £10,000 for breaching health and safety rules. Maurice said that this affected him greatly. and said that he would never build anything like Dream Space again.
I
But
ain't
as
gonna
fate
lie,
had
it sound kind
he
of
would
hard.
never
though.
get the chance, as he also died just 2 months later in 2009.
2 months after, yo. Listen, if I was Elizabeth and Claire family, I'm gonna be waiting for them to get their lick back in afterlife. I ain't gonna lie. 2 months after?
On Sunday, July the 24th, 2021, the day began just like any other for the residents and tourists of a place called Himachal Pradesh, located in India's northern state in the Himalayas. Now, Himachal Pradesh, also known as HP, is a largely mountainous district, well known for its trekking, climbing, and skiing areas. It has beautiful, scenic mountain towns
Got some
and
nice
views
scenery.
that attract tourists from far and wide. In the previous days leading up to that Sunday, the rainfall was described as relentless. As it was India's monsoon season, it went on and on,
Monsoon? Oh my goodness. Listen.
causing generators to fail.
I'm glad Georgia don't really got no like crazy like weather things that be happening here.
And flash floods to sweep
We learned about monsoons, tornadoes, hurricanes. We ain't get none of that.
across villages. Not only does the rain cause havoc with generators, it also causes numerous landslides almost every year. Around 1:25 p.m, dirt and rock began to loosen and crumble down the mountain face, just above the Sangla Chitkul Road in HP. Before anyone knew it, it was raining boulders the size of cars. This footage was captured, and you can see huge boulders raining
What are they doing? Sitting there with their phones out and they got boulders rolling. Bro, I feel like I'm going up to the freaking Death Mountain. This is crazy.
from above, crushing anything they come into contact with.
Listen, if you ain't never played Zelda or Ocarina of Time, listen, you need to get you a childhood. Because that's what I feel like this is right now.
Just watching this gives me goosebumps. Just the feeling of seeing these things coming towards you must have been just terrifying.
And they're just sitting there recording.
The boulders continued to rain from above, ricocheting and bouncing as they tumbled down. One boulder slams into a bridge, taking it out like it was nothing.
Dang.
Now, just below the landslide was actually a tourist bus carrying 11 people, including the driver. And as they drove along without a care in the world, they heard the unmistakable deafening roar above them. They could do nothing.
That's
a huge
crazy.
boulder slammed into the bus,
Boy, better step
killing
on it.
8 instantly.
Reminds me of the Mario.
While another
Reminds me of the Mario 64 level when you're on top of the exactly, bro. See, listen, y'all. Hey, if you don't have a Nintendo 64, you wasn't living. You wasn't living. All right. Sega Genesis. Yeah, everybody loved the disc. Thank you. PlayStation, you did your thing. Them cartridges though, that was real childhood. That was childhood.
sadly succumbed to the injuries on the way to the home.
I got 2 64s at the crib. I'm about to bring one to my girlfriend's house and let her try to beat Zelda Ocarina of Time. If she do that, we might have to get married. I ain't gonna lie. The day she beat it, wedding bells.
At all. One of the tourists on the bus was a woman named Dr. Deepa Sharma. As Miss Deepa enjoyed her backpacking trip across India, on July the 24th, she shared this eerie photo on Twitter with the caption of, "Life is nothing without Mother Nature." She would die just hours after posting this. The Prime Minister announced a compensation of £2,000 to each of the victims' next of kin, and a £500 financial aid was given to the injured.
What is 2,000 pounds? What does that equal in dollars? Hold up. Let me look up. What is 2,000 pounds in dollars? $2,500? Yo, they would have had a Squirrel with me.
This famous footage begins in the center of Taiwan's capital, Taipei. At around 10:52 a.m. on February the 4th, 2015, TransAsia Airways Flight 235 departed from Kinmen Airport in Taipei to a neighboring island. The plane was an ATR-72 turboprop plane carrying 53 passengers and 5 crew members on
I ain't
board.
never seen no wings
The
like
pilots
that.
were pretty experienced, both ranked as captains, with one with a total of 4,914 flight hours, and the other pilot had 6,922 flight hours. Now, takeoff went well, and the passengers soon settled in for their short flight. But shortly after launch, and I mean literally within 2 minutes, a fault in the second engine caused it to have issues, causing it to lose power completely. The pilots worked to fix the issue, but sadly, they misdiagnosed the problem and shut down the one working remaining engine. The aircraft reached an altitude of 1,630 feet before it began its descent. Many witnessed as the plane came flying across Taipei, and in this video, it can be seen a short distance away. But in this one, you can see as the plane banks sharply and clips a taxi roof before crashing into the nearby river. This was the last recording from the flight deck.
You know how?
Rescue operations immediately began and got to work pulling people from the flooded wreckage. Emergency teams cut open the plane while it was in the water, but could not reach the passengers trapped in the front section as it had completely submerged. Of the 53 passengers and 5 crew that were on board, only 15 survived, including a 2-year-old boy and 1 flight attendant. This incident made many question how a perfectly fine plane with 2 experienced pilots could come crashing out of the sky for no apparent reason.
I think 15 survivors, that's a good number for what happened.
This clip has a little background, but it's filmed on Bolivia's Death Road, famously featured on top.
What are you doing driving on something called Bolivia's Death Road? I ain't going to death nothing.
Top Gear's Bolivia special in 2009.
Oh my. Stop there!
As far as I can tell, the clip was filmed in December of 2011, and it shows a double-decker bus as it travelled on Bolivia's Death Road. They were driving along when all of a sudden they came across a part of the road that seemed to have been damaged in a landslide. It didn't look like the bus could possibly make it past, but there was nowhere to turn around and no way to reverse back on themselves.
That's crazy.
The driver commanded his 50 passengers to get off the bus and wait on the road while he attempted to maneuver it solo. And this is when the nail-biting video begins. The bus drives on and it looks like he's going to make it. As all the passengers stood by watching, within a moment, it all goes wrong. Unbeknownst to the driver, the back wheel failed to get a grip on the mud. Its entire back end teetered dangerously close to the precipice, and as the driver slammed on the accelerator, the bus's back end slid over the edge. Within a blink of an eye, the entire bus slipped straight out of view over the rocky cliff.
Yo, fire this cameraman, bruh. Listen, you got one job as a cameraman. The camera goes where your eyes go.
It's only when they look over the edge that they then realise how far he's fallen. The bus tumbled 164 feet below, killing the driver on impact.
Of course.
This left the passengers stood by, completely confused as to what they were going to do, and in complete shock at what they had just witnessed.
2.5.
This story begins in Huntsville, Alabama. On October the 2nd,
I was just there for Thanksgiving. That's crazy.
2021, a 29-year-old woman named Christina Nance was finally reported missing after she randomly stopped turning up to work and replying to messages. Now, Christina was described as a very fun-loving person. She loved to sing and was positive and sweet. When her family reported her missing, they told the police that they'd not seen her since September the 25th, 1 week previously. While Christina was known to the police through the crisis intervention team, they were perplexed as to why she would just up and walk away, leaving everything behind. Christina had some mental health problems, but nothing that would just make her disappear without a message or a note or anything.
True.
Police searched far and wide. They searched her property, they searched her car, and she was nowhere to be seen. Days passed, and she still had not responded to any messages whatsoever, so her family began to worry. Fast forward to Thursday, October the 7th, around 9:15 a.m, the Huntsville Police Department began their workday like any other. As they walked in, one of the officers noticed a pair of shoes sitting beside an unused police van.
That's crazy.
As the officer approached the van, he noticed that one of the windows was down. Putting 2 and 2 together, he thought someone must be sleeping in the van, so the officer unlocked the doors. This is when the horrific discovery was made.
It was
As he
her?
opened the door, he discovered that Christine had been locked inside the van. She was clearly gone. She had been dead for days. The
Locked inside the van with the window down? I don't know about that, Chief. I don't know about that one.
car's humid environment had massively sped up the decomposition process. She had maggots literally wriggling out of her head.
You gonna tell me nobody can smell her nowhere? I mean, nowhere? My cousin riding in away with maggots all in her face.
Her family couldn't help but wonder why nobody noticed the smell.
Exactly.
The police were also confused as to how she'd managed to get in there. With the shoes and the window, their initial thoughts were immediately murder. So they immediately
Exactly, that's
checked the
what I'm
surrounding CCTV cameras. As these were unmonitored, anything could have happened. The police spent hours sifting through the CCTV footage before they came across something. Captured on CCTV, they discovered the bizarre footage of what looked like Christina walking around the Huntsville police car park on September the 25th. On that day, it showed her approaching unmanned cars and sitting on bonnets. She does this for 10 minutes before she approaches the van. She checked the van, checked that it was unlocked, opened the doors, and for an unknown reason, climbed in the back.
What the heck?
Now, what she did not know is that this van was an old inmate transport van.
So you
While the
can't
doors
unlock
would
it?
open, they would lock on themselves once they were closed, meaning someone else has to let you out. It was police policy to ensure these vans were locked. I can only imagine the feeling of realizing that you're stuck. Footage shows that once she entered, she did not leave. The car's windows could be seen being pushed and forced down from the inside, and movement could be seen in the vehicle up to September the 28th.
Bruh, listen. I find out I'm locked in there. I think I could get out in 20 minutes. 20 to 30 minutes. That's like, what? And nobody like drove by. She ain't see nobody bang on no window or nothing.
The bizarre part was the fact that the window was open plenty enough to scream for help or get someone's attention. Sadly, for one reason or another, she couldn't or didn't shout for help, and nobody found her in there until 12 days later.
That's crazy.
By the time they found her, an autopsy showed that she'd been dead for 8 to 10 days. However, her cause of death was inconclusive. Her family were absolutely furious and demanded more answers. They feel, despite the video footage, they couldn't help but wonder why she didn't shout for help, why she got in the van in the first place, and why she was left undiscovered for so long.
True.
They accused the police of manslaughter for leaving the death trap of a van unlocked.
What?
And the police openly took responsibility for it.
Hey, if they gonna do that, hey, send the blame. Send it.
Due to this, Christina's family are currently working on suing the ever-living daylights out of them.
That's crazy. And they admitted guilt? Oh yeah, they're about to get fried.
This crazy footage begins in Nepal on the 15th of February 2023. At 10:33 a.m, Yeti Airlines flight 691 left for its scheduled flight from Kathmandu to Pokhara in Nepal. It was around a 25-minute journey. Now, Flight 691 was a
25-minute
15-year-old twin-engine turboprop ATR 72.
See, I don't know how I feel about these planes having like the propellers on the, not propellers, but the engines on the top like this. Usually they be down here under the plane.
500. That day, the plane was under command of
At least
Senior
here
Captain Kamal KC with Anju Katiwada as co-pilot. They had 21,900 and 6,396 flight hours, respectively. That day, the weather was clear and perfect for flying. Now, the flight was going well, as smooth as you'd expect, until they came into land at the newly built airport in Pokhara. As Flight 691 came into land, something wasn't right. The landing gear opened, but at 311 feet, air traffic control noticed that the aircraft nose was noticeably high. All of a sudden, the engines dropped to zero thrust and the left wing dropped. Within just a second, the plane crashed into the ground. A video filmed from the ground showed the aircraft banking steeply to the left before crashing 65 meters away. This was also all captured from within the aircraft.
That's
now,
crazy.
I will warn you, this footage is not for the faint of heart. A video that was streamed live on Facebook by one of the passengers named Sonu Jasiwal was able to capture moments just before it went down.
Is it gonna... There's the bank.
Now, I don't think I can show all of this footage, but the plane soon takes a nosedive. It then explodes into a ball of flames. It crash landed straight into a gorge on the bank of the Seti Gandaki River.
That boy's smiling.
When rescue got there, it was dire. The plane was engulfed in flames with one half of the fuselage in the gorge. They quickly realised that there were no survivors. 72 people had died. A true tragedy. An investigation into the crash revealed that less than 2 minutes before the crash, Captain Kahadiwada called for the plane's flaps to be extended, saying flaps 30. However, the flight data recorder at that moment did not record any flap movement. Instead of the flaps opening, the propeller rotation speed of both engines slowly decreased and the torque began dropping to zero, suggesting that one of the pilots may have accidentally moved the power lever instead of the lever controlling the flap.
Accidentally? Yo, get these people out of here, bro.
Flaps. This caused both engines to feather, meaning that there was no thrust in each of them. To make it worse, it was also found that the pilots failed to follow routine checklists. Just 14 seconds before the crash, Kadiwada handed over control to the much more experienced pilot, Himel, but by then, it was too late. Some people believe that the root cause was the fact that the pilots
it was a 25-minute flight, and they crashed. Yo, son.
had not gotten used to coming in at that angle because it was a new airport. But this, we can never be sure. This turned out to be the deadliest aviation accident in Nepalese domestic history. May all of the victims in this crash and this video rest in peace.
That's crazy.
But that is the end of this video.
Yo, what channel is this? We need to, hey, Tragedy Tales. We gotta do some more of these vids, man. We gotta get on some more Mr. Ballin again too. I ain't gonna lie. But hey, 100K we going skiing. 500K we going skydiving. So if y'all don't see me at 501K, you know why.
So when the metal hit his mug, he just sunk in place. 100K Holla, chillin' Bahamas. Come home to your crib and throw in your mama.